What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 12 of Film Time with Fava, brought to you by Fired Up Network. I'm all ready to get into this episode, and I hope you at home or wherever you're watching this or listening to it from are as well. So, last week we talked about Akira Kurosawa and two of his films. I hope you all enjoyed that. I really enjoyed talking about a director that not a lot of people today probably know about if you're not like really into film or taking any film classes before. But yeah, I really enjoyed talking about that last week. But this week we're going to switch it up a bit. The first little bit is just going to be some news about Marvel movies and just some Marvel news in general. And in the second half, I will be talking about a movie I watched this week, which was Requiem for a Dream. I've been wanting to watch that movie for a while. It's been on my watch list. And was it good? Was it bad? We will see. Before I get into anything, guys, go follow me on social media. The Instagram for the show is at Film Time with Fava. There you will find updates on the show, when new episodes are coming out, and funny and fun clips. Yeah, the clips are really good. This week's was really good. So go check that out for sure. If you want to follow my personal account, it's at Favalicious. Yep, Fergalicious. I turn it into Favalicious. Okay, and then on Twitter, we got A_Fav24. I'll be posting clips on there as well for the show. And now that we got that out of the way, let's get into some Marvel news for this week. So there was a lot of Marvel news this week and just in general over the past few weeks. And I'll just be covering some of that right now. So first up, Shang-Chi. It isn't out yet. It comes out September the 3rd. I will be seeing that in theaters, probably in London. But yeah, no, Shang-Chi has had its premiere for the press and whatnot. A lot of YouTube reviewers have seen it. Unfortunately, I'm not popular enough to be invited to the premiere of Shang-Chi or any movie for that matter, but the reviews are in, and apparently it's really good. Super happy to hear about that. I've been pretty hyped up for Shang-Chi. Should I say Shang-Chi? That's how everyone's saying it, Shang-Chi. So, one of my previous guests, Mason, you may remember Mason Bolt, he was on for that MCU roundtable discussion. Not a very round table with only two people, but I'll still refer to it as that. He is also very hyped for Shang-Chi. And for good reason, apparently, because the movie is apparently awesome, and apparently the post-credit scene is insane. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Apparently, Simu Liu, pray I'm pronouncing that right, as Shang-Chi, he is incredible. Aquafina and him have this like great connection in the movie. Obviously, I haven't seen the movie, but this is just what I'm hearing. The action scenes are apparently some of the best we've seen in a Marvel movie or just an action movie up to this point. So yeah, needless to say, I'm pretty hyped to see it. Apparently really good. So I'm going with high expectations. Hopefully that doesn't cause the movie to not meet those high expectations, but I have a feeling it will. So some other news from Marvel. The newest Eternal trailer came out. I believe this is also the final trailer for the movie. I think Eternals comes out sometime in November. And I talked about this with Mason I want to say that was episode 6 or 8. Sorry, my dog is yipping down there. The first trailer for the Eternals really didn't do a lot for me. Didn't really get me that excited for the movie. It's one of the more boring Marvel trailers we've ever seen. But with that in mind, I had high hopes for the second trailer, and the second trailer was definitely better than the first. Definitely better than the first, for sure. It just had more substance to it. You got to see the characters more, and finally we got the question answered of why the Eternals never intervened, not even when Thanos dusted half the universe, because apparently they're working for someone higher up, who I think we could see later on in the MCU. I don't know if it's probably not Galactus. It looked more like a giant Sentinel, like Titan being. But yeah, we know now. Sorry, my phone keeps turning off. I need my notes up here. Yeah, so we know this being is the one that basically controls the Eternals, is in charge of them, tells them what to do and all that. But yeah, no, this trailer in general had a lot more to it. We got to see a lot more of the Eternals fighting. We got to see Richard Madden from Game of Thrones doing his thing, shooting laser beams out of his eyes. We got to see the main villain of the film, which are going to be the Deviants, who were apparently the people that the Eternals originally fought on Earth to protect the humans. Apparently, they're back, and it seems like there's a head deviant that we see messing with Angelina Jolie near the end of the trailer. And also, the other trailer didn't have a lot of jokes. This one, once again, didn't really have a ton. But where the other trailer lacked in the final joke, that final scene of the trailer, it's usually either like an epic action scene or like a joke scene. The last trailer had this horrible one where the guy was like talking about how he should lead the Avengers and everyone laughed. And I was like, well, we don't even know who you are, boss. So like this joke doesn't land. But then this trailer had this really funny joke where the guy said, oh, this safe house is great. What's this table made of? Vibranium? And then he just like smashes the table. And the guy's like, no, it was the IKEA fall collection. And that was pretty funny. I really like that. So I'm a bit more excited for Eternals now. Obviously, I'm way more excited for Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man No Way Home. But, Eternals, I'm going with moderate expectations now as opposed to low. And also, I believe the director of Eternals is the director of Nomadland, which won a bunch of Golden Globes and Oscars. So, also looking forward to that. So next up on the list of Marvel news, we got Moon Knight. Not a trailer, none of that, but the costume was revealed. That Oscar Isaac, I love Oscar Isaac. He's a great actor. He was one of my favorite parts of the movie Ex Machina, which you saw on my favorite movies of all time list. He plays Moon Knight, who is he has a split personality. He's a superhero, kind of like apparently he's like the Batman of Marvel. I don't really know a ton about Moon Knight because he's such a new character to me in the MCU. But apparently he gets his powers from like some ancient Egyptian god and the god of the moon, something like that. And he becomes the Moon Knight. But the costume, I gotta admit, I'm a big fan. This looks like really dark, kind of cool, kind of like a cloaked Batman almost. I'm a fan. He's got the arm gauntlets. It looks really cool. Not much to say on this, just that the costume looks really cool. Next up, we got Dominique Thorne is confirmed for Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. So, as we know, you might know, Dominique Thorne is set to play Riri Williams. I want to say Riri Williams or Riri Wilson. I think it's Williams. In the Ironheart Disney Plus series. So basically, Ironheart is a female character that takes up the mantle of Iron Man, sort of. In the comics, I believe in the comics, Tony Stark's still alive when Ironheart exists, but in this, I guess she's going to take up that mantle of the Iron Man persona as Ironheart, the female version. And it's pretty exciting that we're going to get to see her in Black Panther 2. And from what the rumors are saying, it's not just going to be like a minor role. She's going to have like a decent amount of screen time in the movie. So I'm excited to see that. I'm really excited, actually. Like a theory I have is that her mentor is going to be Shuri, and that's how she's going to kind of develop her kind of Tony Stark scientist, inventor skills is under Shuri and the Wakandans. So she might even have like a vibranium Iron Man's or Ironheart suit. So I guess we'll see if that happens, and I'm pretty excited for that. And finally, this is my favorite news, but it's probably the most minor one. So CinemaCon, which is just a film kind of convention in general, is having like a online based convention this year, and it is on August 23rd. But listen to this. Sony has a 3-hour long presentation at this convention, which probably means we might get the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer that we've been yearning for all these months. As you know, the movie is coming out December 17th. And actually, Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel Studios, had an interview, and he basically said, in regards to Spider-Man No Way Home, that he knows that people have been like anticipating a trailer for a while. He knows there's been a lot of secrecy, but he can assure us the movie is coming out on December 17th and that we will receive a trailer before the movie comes out. So, with that in mind, I think the obvious time to release said trailer would be at this CinemaCon convention. And then I'm guessing the trailer will be leaked shortly after, so they'll probably end up releasing the trailer maybe a week later. So I'm going to estimate that the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer will probably be out around, well, a week after CinemaCon. So 30 days has September, April, June, and November, all the rest of 31, August 30th. Let's go with that for the release date of the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. And guys, that's all the Marvel news I have. So now let's get into the movie I watched this week. In case you forgot, that was Requiem for a Dream. And basically, the word Requiem, from what I gathered online, I'd heard the word before. I just had no idea what it meant. It's sort of a eulogy or a speech made at a funeral. It's another word for that is a requiem, commonly used in church. So the title Requiem for a Dream kind of means like a funeral speech or like the loss of a dream. And that is really shown through this movie. And I'm going to get this out of the way right now. This movie was beautiful. I think it's, I think it's on my top 10 list. Like, this movie was great. But now that that's out of the way, I've totally spoiled my review, but whatever. The movie is directed by Darren Aronofsky. He also directed the movie The Wrestler, The Fighter. Apparently, he likes putting the word "the" and then a type of combat sport competitor name in the title. I've heard The Wrestler is amazing. Honestly, this is the first Darren Aronofsky film I have seen. And I can assure you I will be watching more in the future after seeing this one, because this one, as I said, was incredible. So yeah, it's directed by Darren Aronofsky, and it stars Jared Leto as the main protagonist, I'd say, Harry. His mother is played by Ellen Burstyn, who I really didn't know that much about, but she was one of my favorite parts of this movie. Marlon Wayans, who is usually a comedian, like in a lot of comedy movies. If you haven't seen 50 Shades of Black, don't watch it. It's not that great. It's like a rip off of 50 Shades of Grey. I mean, maybe if you're drunk, you can watch it, but like besides that, I wouldn't recommend watching 50 Shades of Black. And it has Jennifer Connelly, who I might have a crush on now, but we will see later on. I mean, she's probably pretty old now. Anyways, back to the movie. Yeah, so I'll start off just with the performances. Jared Leto does really well in this. At times, I felt like his New York accent. I believe he's from Brooklyn in the movie. His New York accent was at times, it felt a little hammed up. Like, I get he's from Brooklyn, but he literally talked like this the whole movie. Yay, pizza! Like, he's like, "Ma, come on, yeah." That was how Jared Leto talked in this movie, and yeah, I got it. Like, he's a Brooklyn boy from humble beginnings. He's gonna have that like rough New York accent, but at the same time, like Jared Leto, who are you fooling? But he was good. And then we had Jennifer Connelly. She was excellent, playing Jared Leto's drugged up girlfriend. And then Marlon Wayans, surprisingly, one of the best parts of this movie, playing Jared Leto's best friend and business partner. And then, as I said, Ellen Burstyn, who plays Jared Leto's mother, she was incredible. I think she was my favorite performance in this movie. She has played so well as like the mother who's lost so much and just wants that, just has like that hope that maybe her life has some meaning still, even with like her husband gone, her son being sort of a failure and never visiting. Like, she's just so lonely, but she has this hope that maybe she can turn it around with this faint chance. But yeah, now that I talked about just the performances, I probably should have talked about the sorry, my phone keeps turning off here. I have my notes out. I guess I don't really need them anymore. But yeah, I should probably talk about what this movie actually is about and, what it deals with. So Requiem for a Dream is basically about the main characters actually, but they all revolve around the one guy, Harry. And he's kind of a bum, he doesn't have a lot of money. It starts off, the opening scene is him stealing his mother's TV, which apparently he does every week, and takes it to a pawn shop, sells it for money, and then his mother goes to the pawn shop to buy it back every week. And when the guy at the pawn shop says, "Why do you keep doing this? Like, you're spending money buying your own TV back every week when your son's just like stealing it and selling it to me." And she says, "He's my son. Like, I gotta help him out." And that just really hit me hard. Just seeing like this mother clinging on to any chance she can to see her son, even if it means he's robbing her. Like, that just showed the loneliness of this movie. And that is a big theme in this movie, which is the loneliness that people experience and how it just can mess you up being completely alone. But yeah, besides that part of the movie, then we delve into Jared Leto and Marlon Wayans as they start selling. They already sold drugs up to this point, but they start getting good at it, and they're starting to make like a decent amount of money, really turning their lives around. Like Jared Leto's buying his mother a new TV. Jared Leto's girlfriend and him are getting high off their own supply all the time, which comes back to bite them because they start running out of the product and then they can't really get any more. And basically everyone's having a lot of success. The story with Jared Leto's mother in the movie, she is alone but gets a call one day from this game show that she always watches, and they say basically, "Hey, like you've won a chance to be on our show." And she's like, "Oh yeah, okay." They're like, "No, like we're serious." So then she, wanting to get on this show and show people like her family and like be famous and not be alone, she really goes ham on that and goes to a doctor in order to lose weight. She starts on this really hard diet where she eats like a slice of bread and water. But then she goes to this doctor who gives her these pills, which are essentially some sort of uppers. Jared Leto says they're uppers. We never really figure out what kind of pills they are, to be exact. But like, she's becoming a junkie basically. Like, she takes them every day. Yeah, she's like grinding her teeth all the time. The fridge starts like moving. She's getting like PTSD basically from food. But it's also that she can look her best and fit into the dress that she wore at Jared Leto's high school graduation and be on this show and tell the world about how great her family is and all this stuff. And it's really painful to watch her spiraling out of control, especially in the end, where actually I'll get to that. All these characters, that's why it's called Requiem for a Dream, because all these characters have this dream, and then it's by the end of the movie, they've all lost this dream and are worse off than before. Jared Leto ends up with one arm gone because of his heroin injecting. Marlon Wayans ends up in prison because of the drug dealing, and he's experiencing heavy withdrawals in prison. Like, he's throwing up, he's having cold sweats at night, things like that. Jared Leto's girlfriend will do anything for drugs, and now that Jared Leto is out of the picture, she's literally selling herself to drug dealers sexually for like just drugs, just heroin, cocaine, anything that she can get her hands on. And she's not happy doing this, but she's happy with what she'll get in return for doing it. And then the saddest of all, Jared Leto's mother ends up in a psychiatric hospital, like basically an insane asylum. And she's getting like electric shock treatment done in her brain. And it's really hard seeing her neighbors who basically encouraged her to go down this path of trying to get on the show and lose weight, seeing what it did to her, and they are just torn up about it. And yeah, totally besides that, let's get into some of the aspects of this movie besides the performance and the content, which I've already spoken about. The music of this movie, let me just check what this song's called here. Oh, I think it's called the Lux Eterna. It's basically the song that goes Dunna na 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 na. It's like this big epic orchestral thing, and I had no idea that it was originally made for Requiem for a Dream, and it works really well. The movie starts off with that sound, and it continues throughout. Whenever the people are experiencing any success, whenever they're experiencing their downfall at the end, this song is heard, and it's a great motif in the movie, the song in general. And it creates this image of like, because when they're experiencing Yeah, when they're experiencing success and this epic orchestral section plays, it like really amps up the success. But then when they're in their lowest state, it really dramatizes just how far they've fallen. And yeah, this song works great for this movie. And I'm surprised I never knew it was from this movie, but A+ on the score. Um, I mean, yeah, besides that, there's like the other music wasn't as memorable, but that one really stood out to me and it really works great. Next up, the cinematography. The cinematography was especially great with the mother's scenes where she's like tweaking out and she's seeing food all around her and the fridge is going crazy in the corner shaking. It's kind of funny seeing the fridge like jumping out of her, but at the same time you see just how crazy she is from like all the stress of being on of trying to get onto this game show and taking these pills. Yeah, you really see it through the cinematography of the quick cuts to the fridge. Um, the kind of, I guess this part would be more in editing, but the, how do I even say this? Like it's really blurry and everyone's moving fast around her to show what she is seeing in her like delirious drug induced state. So I thought that was really cool. That's more editing though. But then besides, yeah, I can't really see. The thing is, this, I knew the cinematography was good. I didn't have any issues with it, but like, there's not really any super memorable shots. Besides, though, one of the main ones, which is on the poster, which is the girl in the red dress, which kind of symbolizes the red dress that the mother wants to fit in. Also symbolizes Jared Leto longing for sort of that figure in his life to be his rock, and he thinks it's going to be Marion, who Marion, who is the his girlfriend in the movie, and he sees her in this red dress, and that's kind of a symbol throughout the movie, just the red dress in general. And the shot of the girl on the dock in the red dress is one that we see a fair bit, and including at the end when we see that Jared Leto has only one arm now after he gets it amputated. That's the last image he sees before he wakes up in the hospital, and to his horror, sees his one arm. So yeah, that shot incredible. But the place where I feel like this movie cinematography wise really flexes its muscles is with the editing, and that is mainly done through the split screen format they use for quite a few scenes. It's only really used in the first half of the film, like mainly the first act, a bit of the second act, and it's shown to show like the love between the two characters. You see the facial expression on one split screen, then you see the hands on the other split screen, showing both the emotional and visual as well as the physical connection between the characters. And it's really well shown at the very beginning when Jared Leto's character is robbing his own mother. You get to see the split screen of the mother in the closet, whereas Jared Leto is outside on the other side of the split screen. And it kind of represents the space between them, which is the door, because Jared Leto's mom locks herself in the closet when he's robbing her for some reason. I don't know. But then, yeah, and then it'll switch to like a shot through the keyhole on one side to show what the mother is looking at. And then, yeah, the split screen is just used really well in this movie. And along with the editing, whenever the drugs are taken, we see like these cuts to just like pupils dilating, cocaine being snorted, blood vessels widening, all that stuff. And that really lets us know that, damn, these guys are messed up. They are really in deep with drugs. And then obviously, as I said before, it'll show like the blurry visuals and like everyone moving super fast, showing what the drugs are doing to them. And yeah, that really emphasizes how great the editing was in this movie. um I think I've covered basically all the great aspects of this movie. There honestly wasn't any real negatives of this movie. As I said, besides Jared Leto's accent being a little hammy at times, that's really it. This movie was just so incredible to watch, and just the ending really got me. Like seeing the mom in the mental hospital telling people like I'm gonna be on TV, and they're just like, okay. And you just can't help but feel bad for this woman who all she wanted was to have her family around her and not feel lonely and like her life meant nothing. But now she's literally fallen so far. And I think her character was the one, as I said, that just hit me the hardest. Jared Leto's character as well, losing his arm. Miriam was the only character that, like, I did feel very bad for her, but at the same time, you kind of realize throughout the movie that she doesn't really love Jared Leto's character, for instance, but she loves what he gives her, which is the drugs. Because as we see in the last scene where we hear Lux Eterna, Lux Eterna, I think it's called, the song playing. We see Marlon Wayans in prison, cold sweats in his bed, thinking about his mother holding him. That's what he's thinking about in that moment. Jared Leto with his arm cut off, he's thinking about Miriam. He's thinking about how he's lost the love, who he thinks is the love of his life. He's lost his mother's love. And then we see the mother, of course, in her hospital bed, smiling, envisioning that she's on TV when we know that she'll never be on TV again. I shouldn't say again, never be on TV in general. But then Miriam's character, it's really interesting to see. She walks into her apartment with the drugs that she has gotten from basically participating in an orgy. That was her payment, was a bunch of like cocaine, and she's just hugging this bag of cocaine as if it's a loved one. It's really bad, really sad to see, but it's very powerful as well. But yeah, so on my rating scale, I'm gonna give Requiem for a Dream a 4.8. That's right, we're giving it a 4.8. I told my buddy I'd give it an 8.7 out of 10. Honestly, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. But yeah, I feel like a 4.8 is fair. The five scale is a little tough. I might switch to a 10 scale later on. But yeah, I think a 4.8, maybe a 4.7. I think that's a fair score for Requiem for a Dream, which is definitely on my top 10 list. It falls somewhere between, I think I like Ex Machina a little more. But it's somewhere between 10 and 5. Yeah, this is a great movie. I'm definitely going to have to watch it again, but it's also very hard to watch. Not because it's boring or anything. It's just hard to like see these characters going through all this, and you just feel like horrible after watching it. But it's a great watch nonetheless. I highly recommend it to anyone, whether you've been through the experiences like that or not. Like, I haven't been through anything even close to that. But then like I watched it and I was like, damn, like it's a great movie. But yeah, and one thing that I really liked about it was one of the script I'm working on right now that I'm going to be filming in the fall at some point, hopefully September, fingers crossed. I'm actually storyboarding it right now, which is a long process. This is my first time storyboarding a script, and I'm 6 or 7 scenes in. There's 13 in total, so I'm about halfway. But I've done close to probably over 50 shots by now. Actually, probably about 50. Yeah. And I haven't even drawn the actual pictures for the storyboard. I've just kind of written down what kind of shot they are and what happens in that shot and where it goes till in the script. And then after I finish all that, then I'll have to put in the script where those specific shots take place. And then I'm going to have to draw little images of what that shot will look like so that the whoever's filming can have a good idea of that. And it'll just allow us to be a lot quicker and more concise and have a better idea of what we're doing in each individual scene and shot when filming the film Desolation Succubus. Check it out, coming this fall or winter, yet to be determined. But yeah, no, this movie gave me a lot of ideas for the script and some of the shots I can use. I thought I was done the script, but I might have to make some changes because the script's basically about this guy who is a recovering drug addict, really lonely, and basically keeps waking up in this dream that he's having where he's basically reliving past events. That's all I'm going to say about it because it's probably going to be posted online at some point after I finish it. So you guys can watch it then. I'll tell you when it's up. But yeah, back to Requiem for a Dream. I already gave it my score 4.8, 4.7, something like that. Great movie. Highly recommend. Definitely go out and watch it now. Award season bound. I mean, I'm pretty sure it already was award season bound, but crazy stuff, man. So, guys, that's going to just about do it for today's episode. This is episode 12. Cannot believe we're already this far, but we are. So, anyways, guys, I'm Anthony Fava. This is Film Time with Fava, brought to you by Fired Up Network. And as always, guys, this is as real as it gets. And I will see you guys next Sunday.